Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mirior and I'll be commentating this game of Poxnora. We are watching a game between Quouar playing Shattered Peaks Sundered Lands, looks like Canaan, and Dagbog playing Iron Fist Stronghold Underdepths. Quouar starts off with the Canaan Lasher, and okay. Dagbog starts off with a Stitched Merged. It's interesting to see. I don't think I've ever seen one of these outside of a Stitched deck, which this may be, but then again, I've never seen a Stitched deck split with Iron Fist Stronghold. Quouar has the Canaan Animus going for the side font. That's good. Pretty sure that with Exertion I'll be able to capture it next turn. Yeah, it's moving in. Yep, we'll be able to get that font next turn. Lasher has Quouar's close spot. Merge grabbing that font. See what upgrades did you pick? You've got Shielded and you have Pummel, which means you don't have Absorb. And what was that? Something was deployed? A Stitched Dreamer was deployed. Probably going up here. And this looks like Dagbog is running a Stitched deck with Iron Fist Stronghold. That's interesting. I say I'm curious. Quouar puts out a Canaan tracker to go up and bother that font. We'll probably get there about the same time as the Dream Eater. It has detection, so that's good. Last moves into mid font. Merged comes in to contest. Merge is definitely the stronger champion. It's 93 Nora versus 57 Nora. And there's a Stitched Shaman. First reconstructor we've seen. For any newer players watching, the way Stitched work are every time a Stitched champion dies, it leaves behind, see what's the ability? Leaves behind a remains relic. Just little 2 hit points sits there. And then the reconstructors, like Stitched Shaman, can turn those relics into new champions that also leave relics when they die. And Stitched also have some champs like the Shaman and like the Merged that deconstruct when they kill a champ. That champ leaves Stitched remains, which can then be reconstructed. Almost like a swarm. Takes a bit more effort to get off, but a similar idea. They're typically very strong late game and not so great early game. Back to the game. So Quouar deployed Canaan Slipped and left the Lasher in the font, but held it back and okay. So Dagbog moves in the Merged, plays an Armory, first Iron Fist Stronghold rune we've seen. It reveals all equipments that Dagbog is running and gives him a refund for all equipments, and then he equips the Merged with a Molten Cloak, giving it damage shield, Trail Lava, immune to fire and frost, and +2 defense. It has 5 defense. It's pretty nice. The Dream Eater is revealed. It's the tracker moving in. Tracker is probably going to contest that font. The Dream Eater is going to be not sure where it is, and it can't stealth, which means Tracker could probably beat it in a one-on-one. Quouar moves the Canaan Slipped in, uses Fuel Rage to give enough action points to make an attack, and it's contesting the font. But between the Slipped and the pack attack from the Lasher, it's only 13 damage to the Merged, and both of Quouar's champs took 5 damage from the merged damage shield from the Molten Cloak. So that's not good. Finding it immediately is probably not the best strategy. Luckily it does not have Absorb, but even still. And so you're seeing a bit about how Kanon work. Kanon, you have the Grunt Kanon, Howlers, Animuses, Lashers, the Tracker up here. And they all have pack mentality. And you have the leaders, like the Slipped. They have Unleash, which lets any champion spend an action point to give the leader an action point and a point of damage. And then whenever the leader attacks a champ, all other grunts in melee also attack that champ once per turn. It only triggers once per turn, but alright, back to the game. Back to the game. Dagbog casts Macadamize to give his champions enough damage to kill the Slipped. And the Dream Eater finds the tracker very quickly, stuns it. Okay, so keep it from running away. And puts a Nora mine in the font. So that'll be giving Dagbog 5 Nora a turn, but more importantly it'll keep that font contested if the Dream Eater dies. Make the tracker's job harder to do. There's another tracker down here to go about this font. That's really what trackers are good for, going at these side fonts, contesting them, being nuisances. Not so good in straight up combat, but they're cheap and they're fast and they stealth. So Quouar still doesn't have any range to deal with the merged, which probably, that merge is definitely a problem. There's a third part of the Kanon besides just the grunts and the leaders. You also have crones, which are the range component of a Kanon deck. They usually give buffs to other Kanon, and they provide range support and do random tricksy things. Oh, there. So the Lasher is killed by the merge, leaving remains. However, Dagbog does not want to move his Shaman into harm's way to reconstruct those remains. He'd get a Dream Eater out of it, but then his Shaman would be right next to the Animus, and the Animus would be able to double attack. The Shaman could quite possibly die. So Dagbog looks to be in a pretty good spot. He's definitely got stronger champs in the middle. That sits merged with 5 defense. Rough. And he puts out a Pantier Lurker. My guess would be down here to block off the tracker coming in. And the tracker has detection, so it'll unself the Lurker, but I'm pretty sure the Lurker also has detection, so it'll unself the tracker.